Howdy folks, Dr. Lane here with your first proper Peaks Challenge 24 training tip. I guess we're in week 5 now, so week 4's gone, 4 weeks have gone pretty darn quick. This next block is all about probably my favourite session. You've got your 90% roughly 20-minute efforts, and there's lots and lots of those, and if I could do one effort all year round, it would be 90% of your FTP for some big long efforts, starting at 20 minutes, doing maybe 2 of them, maybe doing 3 of them, maybe just riding all the way up Mount Buffalo for an hour or so at 90%. What it does is really work on your muscular endurance in your legs, and it also gives you this efficiency factor of power versus heart rate. It's really good at getting you to ride at a higher speed with a lower heart rate, and that's really what it's all about. So what I'm going to do today is ride up Mount Buffalo and do 2 20-minute efforts at about 90% of my FTP. And as you can probably hear, I've been a bit sick the last week, so I don't know, I'm not real sure where my fitness is actually at. So what I might do is aim for a particular heart rate, and I know for me 160 beats a minute should match up with 90% of my FTP. But I have a feeling I'm going to be a little bit under that just because I've been a bit sick and had a quiet week. This week, for everybody following the program, there is a 20-minute test at the end of this week, so of week 5. So what you want to do is, if you're not sure of your zones, is to actually try and get that test done, because this 90% effort is actually really important to make sure that you're under your threshold. These aren't supposed to be something where you're huffing and puffing. They should be really controlled, and you want to be just under it. The other thing is you don't want to be working too easy. So if you've got fitness improvements and you're actually working too easy, you're not going to be getting as much stress on the body as what we really want. So come along with me. I'm going to do a couple of 20-minute efforts to the best of my ability today, and we'll see where I'm at fitness-wise. Come along for the ride. Okay, so I'm nearly 10 minutes into this first effort. As you can hear, I'm not huffing and puffing too much. I can still talk, but I'm 314 watts average, heart rate's on 160. The goal is just to keep it there nice and steady for the rest of this effort, another 10 minutes. What I'm trying to do is keep my cadence where I'm most efficient, so not doing a strength effort where it's too low, not spinning where it's too high. Try and be controlled, just be smooth, think about my breathing. I'm really conscious of trying to be basically on erg mode like you are on a trainer, where I'm feeling the tension in my legs and changing my gears as it's going up and down to try and be steady. All right, it's hard talking and pedaling. I'll see you at the end of this effort. Okay, just finished 20 minutes at 90%, effort number 1. I just literally finished, so you can hear I'm not puffing. I can regain my breathing pretty quick. I felt pretty good. That was where I wanted to be. 160 beats a minute, 310 watts. That's about bang on. So I'm actually surprised considering I've been sick. It's actually really hot today and really humid, and that usually makes it a bit harder to keep your heart rate down. It tends to climb. So I guess the end point of this session within this training block is I can do 1 easily. 2, I'm probably going to cap it at today because I've been sick. But if I was feeling good and strong and I got through the first, got through the second, my perceived effort at the second's, you know, not too bad, similar to the first, I'd probably aim for a 3rd. So within the program over 3 or 4 weeks, we're building it from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, which I think is 40, 60, then 80 minutes total climbing. But the end point here is when you sort of start to fatigue, when the legs give out. So that's how you're going to get stronger, is by pushing the legs to the point where they actually fatigue. So keep that in mind for your sessions. I'm just going to tap nice and easy now, probably for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to do another one up towards the top. Hopefully it's cooler up there. Woo, I'm sweating here. See you at the top. I'm just going to stop for a bit of a break and have a chat because I need a rest. Another thing to remember with these 20-minute efforts is, look, I've got the luxury of a big, massive, long climb right now. If you're stuck inside doing these, and if you've seen the program on Training Peaks, I've got 2 20-minute efforts built into the erg sessions. So if you live somewhere without a good consistent gradient or a good flat section, this is even harder to do on the flat. Just a hill works so well for it. But if you're stuck on the ergo doing it, maybe think about doing the 2 20 minutes on the ergo, or 2 or 3, whatever you can get done, and then just going out for an easy roll. And then even if it's stop and start, just doing the aerobic stuff outside, doesn't really matter. But this is all about the quality of a consistent 20-minute effort, no stopping, no ups and downs, because you just really do feel it catch up as you do more and more and longer. So that's probably a good tip. If you don't have a mountain and you're on the ergo, maybe get them done on the ergo and then just ride nice and easy. You can jump on Zwift, do them there, or just do them on whatever mode you want, and then just go outside for a ride and do an easy spin outside just to clock up a bit more time. That's always a handy tip. Guess something I'm just observing in myself all the time is I'm in Marico now, and that tends to be, for me, I kind of default to sort of 75% FTP and the same heart rate. So for me, that's like 260 watts and 150 or 140 beats a minute, just in there, especially going up a hill. Even when I'm tired, that just tends to be where I tend to self-select. On the flats, it's probably a bit lower, but on the hills, when I say do your high Z2 aerobic efforts, that's exactly where we're at right now. So it's a good spot to be, nice and efficient, not hard, but you're still working. Ooh, gonna start this other effort soon. I might show you a couple of my favorite screens on my Garmin as well. There's also like your average or your lap summaries, which is real handy, just to see after an effort you can flick through and see what your numbers were. This is why Buffalo's one of my favourite hills. Look at that view. Oh yeah. This is massive look out, I think. I'm going to start my other effort just up here, but I might stop and enjoy the view for a bit and show you. Alright, here goes. Effort number 2. This one's probably going to feel, sometimes it can feel easier because you kind of warmed up a bit, but usually by the end of it, your perceived exertion starts to creep up and it's a bit harder. But I think I'll be happy with 2 of these today, and I'll just do a bit more 75% riding, and that's called a day. But I'll get to the top and show you the view. Okay, that was perfect timing. I just finished interval number 2 and I made it to the gap just before the chalet up the top of Buffalo. I'm calling it a day. That one was, the first one was 20 minutes, 311 watts and like 160 beats a minute. That one was 160 beats a minute, but I dropped down to like 300 average by the end because I just couldn't do the same power for that heart rate. And that's kind of the key to this session, is don't go over that set heart rate because that's what your body's doing. But as you fatigue, it'll be harder, or your power will drop compared to that heart rate. And as you get better, you want to be able to do more and more repeats without that big drop. And probably for me, I guess that's like 5% or something drop in power. Oh, my glasses are fogging up because I'm so sweaty. But yeah, for me, that drop down to about a 300 is probably where I'd call it quits. It is pretty hot, so that's probably one of the reasons, and humid. But yeah, same for you though. Like, first effort is a benchmark. Once it starts dropping too much, you know, 10, 15 watts maybe, depending upon where your threshold's at, it's time to call it quits. For the rest of the day, I might do some more 75% FTP climbing. So for me, that's like 250, 260 watts. I'm gonna go to the chalet now, get a couple of nice photos, roll back down the hill. Might look for a nice cool river to go for a swim in. All right, see you next one. Made it to the top. How good's the chalet view? That's got to be one of the best views in Bright.